Hello guys, welcome to the movie recap review. Happy watching.
In a quaint countryside town in Tennessee, Lazarus Red encounters his wife, Rose, who had been involved in a relationship with his brother. He attempts to persuade her to seek counseling at the church, but she adamantly declines, confessing that her love for him has faded. As Rose prepares to depart, Lazarus firmly grasps her hand, promising to pray for her amidst the pain she caused him. She erupts in anger, unleashing her fury on him before storming out of the diner. Meanwhile, Ray Dool shares a tender moment with her boyfriend, Ronnie Morgan, before he prepares to depart for deployment with the National Guard, despite grappling with severe anxiety disorder. As Ronnie gets ready to leave, he presents Ray with a watch synchronized to his own, a symbol of their connection, set to alarm simultaneously to remind them of each other's thoughts. With Ronnie securing a ride from his friend Gil, Ray rushes after the departing truck, but tragically falls to the ground. Overcome by distress, she begins to moan and massage her legs, eventually succumbing to her sickness, leading her to engage in a regrettable encounter with a man named Taron. Following her encounter with Taron, Ray requests money and a ride into town from him. While walking to the store, she is taken aback to find her mother employed there, prompting a swift departure. Meanwhile, Lazarus procures supplies for his farm and returns home to commence yard work, inadvertently damaging his wife's flower beds with his tractor. Later that evening, Lazarus seeks solace at the bar with a beer, where a woman attempts to flirt with him. However, still reeling from his wife's betrayal, Lazarus remains wary of romantic entanglements. Tensions escalate when Lazarus's brother enters the bar, prompting the bartender to caution Lazarus to maintain his composure. Lazarus's brother attempts to extend an apology for the pain he caused, but their conversation quickly escalates into an argument. Fueled by emotion, Lazarus shatters a bottle and brandishes it threateningly before ultimately exiting the bar and making his way home. There, he seeks solace in music, picking up his guitar and pouring his heart out in a soulful blues song, lamenting the betrayal of his unfaithful wife. Elsewhere, Ray finds herself at a party surrounded by friends, where she indulges in drugs and ends up banging with a stranger. Disoriented, clad in only underwear and shoulder pads, she catches the attention of Gil, who removes her pads and offers to escort her home. During the journey, he confronts her about her infidelity towards Ronnie and attempts to bang her. However, when Ray responds with laughter, Gil's demeanor shifts, leading to a violent outburst. Upon realizing the severity of his actions, Gil panics, believing he has caused Ray's demise. In a panic, he abandons her by the roadside, leaving her scantily clad and unconscious. The following morning, Lazarus is disposing of some garbage by the roadside for collection when he spots Ray on the verge. Concerned, he approaches her, and upon noticing her coughing, he escorts her to his residence to provide care. While attempting to converse with her, Ray incomprehensibly murmurs Taron's name, leading Lazarus to suspect his involvement. Urgently, he sets off to the town to procure medicine for her, consulting Angela, the local pharmacist, who briefly converses with him before dispensing the medication. With the medicine in hand, Lazarus departs, but encounters Taron's vehicle on the way, prompting him to divert to the nearby pool hall for a conversation. There he confronts Taron regarding Ray, accusing him of causing her distress. However, Taron refutes the allegation, attributing Ray's behavior to promiscuity whenever her boyfriend is absent, describing it as an affliction. At Lazarus' residence, Ray persists in experiencing hallucinations and collapses onto the floor, where Lazarus discovers her. While attempting to assist her, she unexpectedly kisses him, and then begins writhing uncontrollably, unsettling Lazarus, prompting him to hastily exit the premises. He rushes to prepare a cold bath in an attempt to alleviate Ray's fever. Later that evening, Ray, still in a state of delirium, dashes through Lazarus' vegetable garden in search of Ronnie, prompting Lazarus to intervene and guide her back indoors. After ensuring Ray settles back into sleep, he ventures to his barn and retrieves a length of chain. The following day, Ray awakens, seemingly in improved spirits, yet harboring some apprehension towards Lazarus. As she moves to depart, she makes a startling discovery. She's bound to his radiator by chains. Lazarus attempts to rationalize the situation, but Ray rebuffs his explanations, unleashing screams for assistance as she flees outside. Hindered by the chain, her cries for help echo futilely, met by Lazarus's assertion that aid won't arrive. Refusing to return indoors, Ray is forcefully dragged back by Lazarus, who claims it's his spiritual obligation to cleanse her of perceived sins, attributing her earlier state of abandonment near his residence to divine intent. Despite his efforts to care for her, Ray remains resistant to his assistance. The following day, while Lazarus ventures into town to procure clothing for Ray, she awakens and starts exploring his residence. Before long, a young teenager named Lincoln arrives, fulfilling his commitment to assist Lazarus on the farm. Upon Lazarus's return, he discovers Lincoln's presence and promptly expels him from the premises, having found him and Ray together. As Lincoln flees, Lazarus's pastor, R.L., arrives, only to be met with Lazarus's insistence that he leave, expressing a desire for solitude. R.L. takes offense to Lazarus's demeanor, leading to a tense standoff. When Lazarus threatens him with a gun, R.L. seizes control of the situation, wresting the firearm away and confronting Lazarus about his behavior. Upon discovering Ray chained to the radiator, R.L. admonishes Lazarus, demanding an explanation. Lazarus defends himself, claiming he found Ray near his home and was attempting to provide aid. As R.L. questions the presence of the chain, Lazarus attempts to justify it before requesting that R.L. speak with Ray while he addresses the situation with Lincoln, who had sought refuge in his barn. Later, as Lazarus prepares dinner, Ray dons one of the dresses purchased for her and assists in the kitchen before joining Lazarus, R.L., and Lincoln at the dinner table. They share a meal together amidst conversation. Meanwhile, Ronnie, recently discharged from the army due to anxiety, returns to town and encounters Gil at the bar. Ronnie inquires about Ray's whereabouts, prompting Gil to initially fabricate her whereabouts, claiming she's likely nearby. However, Gil eventually divulges the truth about Ray's actions during Lazarus's absence. In disbelief, Ronnie and Gil engage in a heated altercation, culminating in Ronnie stealing Gil's truck to search for Ray. Meanwhile, back at Lazarus's residence, they share a moment over some moonshine. Lazarus decides to release Ray from the chain, admitting he lacks the authority to pass judgment or dictate her path. Moved by his gesture, Ray requests that Lazarus play a song for her. As the melody fills the room, a storm begins to brew outside, unsettling Ray. Seeking solace, she implores Lazarus to continue playing and singing, finding comfort in the music amidst the encroaching storm. The following day, Lazarus accompanies Ray into town as she prepares to confront her mother about their troubled past, while Lazarus tends to the sale of his vegetables. During Ray's absence, Angela, approaching Lazarus, extends an invitation to a picnic lunch. They converse while seated on a bench. Meanwhile, Ray confronts her mother about her mother's boyfriend's past abuse, revealing the painful memories of her childhood. Emotions escalate as Ray's mother denies any wrongdoing, leading to a confrontation that draws Lazarus's attention. He intervenes, coming to Ray's aid, though feeling uncomfortable when Angela witnesses the scene. Lazarus avoids Angela's gaze as he tends to Ray, navigating the complexities of their shared history. Back at his residence, Lazarus focuses on consoling Ray before suggesting they venture out for the evening. As they make their way to the bar, where Lazarus is set to perform with his former band, Ray's watch alarm sounds. She silences it and briefly scans the surroundings upon hearing another alarm nearby, but finding nothing, she follows Lazarus inside. Lazarus is taken aback by the crowd thronging the place and directs Ray to secure a seat close to the stage's corner for his performance. However, before long, Ray gets swept up in the music and starts dancing, enjoying herself, oblivious to Ronnie observing them from outside through the window. The following morning, Lazarus is roused from sleep by the sound of Ray attempting to strum one of his guitars. He joins her, sitting down to play while she sings. Suddenly, Ronnie stealthily enters the room and strikes Lazarus, brandishing his pistol and unleashing a tirade, accusing them of wrongdoing. Lazarus, unfazed, taunts Ronnie about his intentions to kill him. Ronnie's rage reaches a breaking point, and he collapses to the floor as Lazarus continues his provocative remarks. Ray rushes to comfort Ronnie, while Lazarus connects his phone and calls R.L., asking him to come over and mediate. Meanwhile, as R.L. engages with them and offers support, Lazarus makes his way to Angela's residence to extend an apology and seek a favor. Back at Lazarus' residence, Ray and Ronnie have made the decision to tie the knot, and Lazarus, who has taken on a paternal role in Ray's life, proudly gives her away. As the newlyweds drive off, Lazarus and Angela share a tender moment, holding hands as they watch them depart. On the highway, Ray and Ronnie find themselves surrounded by tractor-trailers, triggering another anxiety attack for Ronnie. He pulls over to cope with it, and as he struggles, Ray begins to feel the onset of her own episode. Despite this, she gathers her strength and assists Ronnie, reassuring him that they will overcome this hurdle together.
And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.